Hello, angel babies. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Trisha, and this is Trisha's Temple. Thanks for being here. You might notice that there's been a change of venue yet again because I have moved yet again. And so let's settle in. Let's see what this new place has to offer us. It feels like your wild nature, your untamed, animalistic parts are wanting to come out to play. The part of you that isn't afraid to ruffle some feathers, the part of you that wants to play, be set free, have fun, is wanting to come out of the cage that was for a long time very necessary because you didn't have as much control or say over what was happening in your life. But now you have a lot more choice. You get to write the rules, and it's feeling empowering, exciting, but there also might be a little bit of hesitation still left over. I pulled strength first. This particular strength card reminds me of a story from the TV show. Oh, it's gonna come to me. Once Upon a Time. And I've shared this before on this channel. The Little Red Riding Hood finds out that she is also the wolf. She's had this wolf part of her inside of her, and her grandmother was keeping that from her, keeping it a secret because she thought that she was going to protect her granddaughter by not telling her that she was also the wolf. She was the one going out and killing all of these people. And then eventually Red finds out that she's the wolf, and she's devastated, but then she's also able to claim that part of her and gain more autonomy over when she lets that part of herself out to play and use it as a force for protection for herself and for others. Use it as a way to be this guardian. And I think that that's something that you are starting to do. First you're realizing that the parts of you that maybe you were ashamed of for a long time are actually protecting you, and maybe you're giving them some new ways to interact in the world. Okay, I also pulled the 5 of Spells and the 9 of Boons. I'm thinking, so the other day, my nieces and nephew were over here and they were helping me with this moving process, doing some cleaning and organizing to earn some money. And 2 of my nieces were asking me, like, what was this room supposed to be for? And I said, it's going to be like an art studio and where I'm gonna film. And they're like, oh, what do you film? And I told them I did YouTube, and it got into this whole conversation about tarot, and they didn't really know what that was. So I started to teach them a little bit about how tarot works and that it can be a way to connect to your intuition. And it was really sweet because while they're being raised in this very specific upbringing that I was also raised in, I didn't have to pull them out of that. I didn't have to say what you believe is wrong and what I believe is right. But I did get to share a piece of myself in a way that was age appropriate and fun, playful for them. They got to use their creativity and imagination for a moment, and it didn't feel like this threatening thing that I was bringing to them. I think that you are integrating more aspects of yourself, and you're able to approach conflict differently now. So it does become almost more fun to watch people become upset or ruffle their feathers because you don't take it personally anymore. You're like, oh, that's their thing. They are struggling to conceptualize something different that feels somewhat dangerous or deviant from their status quo, whereas I'm over here just sitting comfortably in my own version of reality, my truth, my perspective on the world. And they don't have to conform to what I believe for me to be happy with what I believe. I think that you are having opportunities to share yourself, share your story in small ways, like I did with my nieces, and also larger ways. But maybe you aren't even realizing that the larger ways are happening because they've just been accumulating over time. Okay. What are some of these larger ways that you are sharing yourself? We have the 10 of challenges. This reminds me of like this George Washington painting. And 2 of boons. The way that you are living your life has shifted. Like your whole energy has shifted. There may have been a time in your life, likely has been, a time in your life where you were a lot more rigid, had a lot of rules and expectations placed upon you, and then you kind of carried those in for yourself. Like maybe the system, your family, schooling, whatever structure gave those to you, and then they got integrated into your system. But you've been purging those out, clearing them out of your system, and now you're living a much more peaceful version of yourself. You're not in so much conflict with self. You're feeling more in harmony, zen. And there are people observing this transition that has happened to you, and they have been for a while, and they're wondering, how are you doing that? What is happening over there? I want some of that. I want to feel that way. And maybe they've even asked you, like, how did you do that thing? Like, how do you look so much happier? How are you, like, because maybe they know that you're also struggling with things, or maybe they've asked you, maybe they've been telling you things about their own life, the stresses that they're facing, and how they're almost implementing things that you are doing without you having to tell them to do it. Like they're learning by example rather than by you telling them, which is really the best form of learning. It's like, the opposite of do what I say, not what I do. Do what I do. Like, this is who I am at my core. And you're giving people permission to become who they are. What resistance or cage that you're coming out of is still lingering or popping up here and there? We have the Enchanter. Ooh. Fear of being seen, being heard, sharing your magic. So I think that one of the things that's happening is you're collecting more data, more evidence that you've already been using your magic in all of these smaller ways through just the way that you are living your life, the way that you've been going into the shadow and transmuting the hard and painful things that have happened to you into creation, into your magic, into something more beautiful and alive, reconnecting to your life force energy. But there may still be this hesitance to be connected to the life force energy. What is the reason for that hesitance to be connected to the life force? Why are you feeling still a little bit of nervousness, trepidation, just like I'm not sure if I'm quite ready for that. Let's take it slow. It's like you're standing at the edge of the cliff. You've been practicing using your wings, but you're not quite ready to take that leap yet. But you have taken many leaps of faith before. This time, maybe something feels different about this time. Ooh, Seeker of Spells. Okay. Maybe there is some aspect of your power, of your creativity, of your inner world, your psyche, that feels like it's still lost to you, missing, disconnected from the center, the self. And that's making you feel like you can't go forward yet. Like, oh, this part of me is going to be left behind. And now I'm hearing maybe this part of you is going to be found in the going forward, in the use of the magic. This is where you will reclaim this aspect of you. That honestly, this part of you wasn't actually gone. It didn't go anywhere. It's still within you. But to re-access it, there is something that you're going to be doing. Maybe it is putting the paint on the canvas. Maybe it is making a phone call. Maybe it's having a conversation. There's something that's going to help reignite that part of you, and then help you tune into it even more, awaken it even more, bring it more fully into the light, into the center, into consciousness. What is this part of you? Let's ask a little bit more, which maybe now is a moment where you're finding out more about this part. I think that you've had moments like this before, maybe in relationships. You've met people and felt a part of yourself come back to life. Maybe a certain experience, like you did something that made you a little bit nervous to do. I'm thinking of when I learned how to wake surf. I was sitting on the back of the boat, and my friend who was going to teach me was like, you really don't have to do this. Like, you look really nervous. And I said, you know, if I never did anything that I was scared to do, then I would never do anything. Because I'm scared of a lot of things. And he was like, okay, that's fair. So I think that there may be some activity or relationship that's reminding you of, okay, we now have the 9 of Visions, reminding you of this part of you. This 9 of Visions is the wish in the wishing well. Maybe it's a wish that you made a long time ago when you were a child and you don't even remember that you made that wish. And maybe there's a part of you that is feeling some sort of hesitance to move forward because you feel like there's some big grand plan that you need to align yourself to, or you need to remember very perfectly what your life's mission is. And this part of you and your magic are coming back online through you making more wishes. And they can be little wishes, like, oh, I wish to have a new pair of pajamas, and then you get yourself some pajamas. Or I wish to take 15 minutes to read a comfort book. Or I wish to go on a walk. and enjoy the fresh air and sunshine. That there are all of these little tiny things that you're starting to honor more and more. And then your soul, this part of you, is becoming more apparent as you make wishes and honor them, as you listen to that inner voice that's asking you to eat certain things or take a rest, to call a friend, phone a friend. Okay. What will be some signs that this part of you, I mean, I love that she's wearing this red dress, that this part of you has been reignited, that you've found that part. What will it feel like? What will it look like? Maybe you have a specific language that you've been creating with the universe, your inner world. And that language is becoming more dialed in. Like, oh, when I see 1111, it means this thing. Or when and like, you're just assigning more meaning to specific things for the fun of it. When I pass this gate key, when I find this gate key, oh, you mean this gate key? Okay. The Emperor, ooh, yeah. Okay, so when you are connected to that part, which again, this part of you is not like on some remote island and you have to travel the 7 seas and eat 6 coconuts and do 20 herpes and burpees, not herpes. That was amazing. Like, you know, like there isn't like some specific regime that you have to follow. I think it's more so a matter of creating more safety and aligning yourself more to those internal wishes like we were talking about. I think that when you do feel more aligned with that part, I'm hearing the word derecho in Spanish, which is straight. Like, there will be more clarity, I think. You will feel more so I've been watching Ghost Whisper, and I'm imagining like here's this, your spirit, and here's your body, and I'm imagining the spirit being like more fully in the center of your body, rather than the spirit being above, to the side. They're aligned with each other. Growing up, I was taught that like your spirit and your body were like together, and that when you died, like your body stayed here and your spirit went somewhere else. Which, you know, maybe, I don't know. But what I'm picturing right now is that the most integrated, centered, aligned, the version of you that doesn't have to hide, like a very true meaning of mature, which feels like I know who I am and I know what I want and I'm able to go towards it. And that happening in more real time than feeling like you have to fight through a bunch of muck to get to something that it is that you want. It's more clear what it is that you want. What you want is more clear. Light bulb. What do you want? Oh, okay, bye. It's the Page of Swords. I think I want to get another one. The Page of Swords feels like starting a quest. For knowledge. Allowing yourself to learn something just because you want to, not because it has some specific significance or deep-rooted meaning. Maybe you've had a lot of pressure to, like we said earlier, find your true calling or purpose in life. And I think that a lot of pressure is being taken off of that idea that you have to have some grand meaning and purpose to everything that you do. And it's more so that you are just doing things that you enjoy, that you want, that sound fun. You're playing. And that includes things that you're learning, things that you are sharing with other people, your communication. Like we were talking about in the very beginning, when we were talking about ruffling people's feathers and having the courage to be unacceptable. You're becoming the person who says something that you've been learning about that's interesting to you, and you're not as tied up in the how is this going to offend anybody in this room. You're having a much more like childlike approach to your communication. When a child communicates, they can be very blunt. They can be very honest and direct with the way that they say things. They just say it how it is. And it's not so much that you're just going around being rude and cutting people down. In fact, it's the opposite. It's that you are standing firmly in your own authentic truth and recognizing that sometimes that might make other people uncomfortable, but it is not a cut. It is this is what I believe. It's a no thank you, no thank you. That's what my 2-year-old nephew says when he doesn't want something. No thank you, no thank you. And judgment, you are celebrating the journey that has brought you to this level of peace to be yourself and this level of clarity on who it is that you are, what it is that you want, and a satisfaction or an acknowledgement that a playfulness around there will always be more to learn. There will always be more to explore and discover, rather than that feeling like pressure or like, oh, I've got to get up and do more right now because the path is so long ahead of me. You're looking and seeing, look at all the things that I've already done and all the things I've already learned, and there's still so much ahead of me that I have the opportunity to explore, and you're enjoying this spot that you've landed in. There's a peace that's coming from some of the more mundane aspects of life, or what used to feel mundane about your life. You're almost looking forward to some of those things more than the bigger things, like, oh, I'm really enjoying making my bed in the morning and the way that it looks when it's made, or I'm really enjoying drinking my tea outside, or I'm really enjoying watching my favorite TV show in the evening. You know, like just those little everyday human things. And it's reminding me of About Time, when, if you haven't seen that, 10 out of 10, would recommend. He says that he realizes instead of going back in time to fix or change things to be exactly perfect or to make it better, he lives every single day as if that was the day that he came back to. So he does this in little ways by like stopping and staring at his wife while she's like still in bed sleeping, or like going over and kissing her on the forehead, by holding his daughter's hand and walking her to school and saying goodbye to her 15 times, because that's just how kids are. It's all of those little tiny details that help you to be so present in your life. And then the flip side of sometimes that doesn't actually happen. Sometimes things aren't so beautiful and peaceful. Sometimes you get in a fight. Sometimes you get in a car crash, or hurt your elbow or your knee, like skin your knee. Sometimes you have to have surgery, or there's something that comes up that like shakes you out of the mundane in a way that isn't quite so pleasant. And you're not taking that as evidence that you did something wrong. You're just accepting that that is part of being a human. And that the positive, the fun things, the big things that you look forward to, like maybe a promotion at work, or moving to your dream house, buying your dream car, ending up in a relationship that just really fulfills you, are also part of being human. And you're feeling less urgency around any of it. Is there something that is helping you to slow down and feel less aggression? Interesting. Urgency. A need for it to all happen right now. Now I'm thinking of like everything, everywhere, all at once, like that idea that in some ways it's already all happened. Like if you knew right now that you were going to get all the things that you've ever wanted, how would that shift? Like there was some predetermined day that, you know, these certain things were going to happen. And I'm not saying that there are, but if that's how it was, how would that change the way that you faced today? Okay, I want these two. We have stop right there. Okay, she's covered. Stop right there. And mer meetings. I'm hearing this song by, oh shoot, now I'm forgetting what the band's name is. But the song is like Stop and Smell the Roses. Something along those lines. And the whole idea is that sometimes we get very attached to these old belief systems or identities that were wrapped around survival and suffering, and I need to be constantly doing something to prove that I'm trying to improve my life or change it to be something that it isn't. And I think that a lot of that is falling off and shedding from your system. It may still peek out, but you're feeling less interested in what it has to say. You're stopping to smell the roses, you're having these intentional conversations with people, and really, you're really able to be present with that person and what they have to say. You're also acknowledging when that person isn't aligned with you and allowing yourself to step away. Let's read what this stop right there has to say. It feels a lot like what we've been talking about in terms of just slowing down. When your brain and your body are telling you, giving you a whole laundry list of things that you should be doing, like, or in the dance of relationship, we move in and out of myriad circles of energy, from deep closeness to more casual connection, sometimes with the same being and within the same day. Navigating all of this takes a very clear energy, one that says, as this mermaid does, stop right there. There is no passing her energy field. There is no doubt in her entire being that she is the keeper of the space she dwells within, and the dance will continue. We know about boundaries, but often we do not know how to apply them to what we want. We fear inconveniencing or harming another, making an enemy, or losing a friendship. But in life, we must create those circles of energy around us, the ones that help us come back to the core of ourselves. It is not about preventing others' behaviors by communicating what we will and will not accept. So while you may fear loss, dive into the truth of what you wish to communicate and express it with your entire being. Your gestures, your words, your actions, and the language of your energy will support you. So begin it now. Start with one thing and stop right there. Know your limits and know what brings you joy. Between the two are the dance of love and friendship and all the relationships in our worlds. I feel like that's the perfect summary of this reading, honestly. You are just starting with one thing and then stopping right there. You are reconnecting to what brings you joy. While I was reading this, a couple more things came up for me. You contain multitudes. You aren't just one thing. You aren't just calm or stressed. You aren't just happy or sad. You are all of those things. And you are starting to acknowledge all of the ebbs and flows, all of the cycles as part of the weather patterns of your psyche, of yourself. Sometimes you attach more meaning to them than others. sometimes you use more co-regulation, or you use more self-regulation. You reach out for support, or you handle it on your own. And you're getting more familiar with what's actually supportive to you in any given moment, in different cycles, but also allowing yourself to change and to meet new versions of you and to discover that fiery, passionate, life force energy can be found in things that you have maybe not experienced yet. Yeah. You are on an adventure of exploration. That's what I have for you today. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being here. Love you.